The night felt heavy and dark, as if it carried the breath of a truth that had been hidden for years. Along the quiet shoreline, the silence was almost unsettling. Somewhere within that stillness, a moment was approaching, one that could change the fate of everyone involved. No one realized it yet. But some truths cannot stay buried forever. No matter how deeply they are hidden, no matter how strongly people try to suppress them, the moment always comes when they break through even the strongest walls. So the real question is this. ***, what secret will come to light tonight? ***, will the name that has been buried in silence for years finally be spoken again? And if it is, will it simply reveal the truth, or will it completely destroy a family? Meanwhile, Mkin could still hear Ashley's words echoing inside her mind. ***, the real killer isn't Haider, it's you. Lul died because of you. ***. Those words felt like a knife piercing straight through her heart. For Mkin, the world seemed to freeze in that moment. The sounds around her faded away, and time itself felt heavy and slow. The strange determination on Ashley's face, the jealousy and anger in her eyes, sank deeply into Mkin's thoughts. With a trembling voice, Mkin finally spoke. "What are you talking about? How could you accuse me of something like that?" A cold smile appeared on Ashley's lips. "I'm just telling the truth," she replied calmly. "She died because of you. And you know that better than anyone." Those words began spinning through Mkin's mind like a storm. Could it really be true? That terrible night from the past, the night everything changed, could it really have happened because of her? The memories she had tried so hard to bury started to rise to the surface again. So now the question becomes even more unsettling. ***, is Mkin truly guilty of what happened that night? ***, or is Ashley simply lying out of jealousy and hatred? Just then, a shadow appeared outside the door. It was ***Ates***. When he stepped into the room, the tension inside was so thick it almost felt physical. Mkin's face had gone pale, while Ashley tried to remain calm. But there was a strange glimmer in her eyes. Ates looked from one woman to the other. "What's going on here?" he asked. No one answered. The silence grew heavier. Finally, Ashley took a slow breath. "Nothing," she said casually. "Mkin and I were just talking about the past." Ates's gaze shifted to Mkin. "Is that true?" Mkin stayed silent for several seconds. Then she slowly nodded. But inside her, the storm was growing stronger. Because Ashley's words were more than just an accusation, they had awakened Mkin's deepest fear. What if the terrible events of that night really were her fault? So now another question arises. ***, should Mkin tell Ates the truth about what she's feeling? ***, or should she continue hiding this painful secret? At the same time, in another part of the mansion, Mkin was sitting alone in a dark room. In her hands was an old photograph. The picture showed 3 people. A young woman, a small child, and ***lul***. Tears filled Mkin's eyes as she stared at the image. "All these years," she whispered quietly, "I've hidden everything, but how much longer can this secret survive?" Just then, there was a soft knock on the door. The person who entered was Celia ***. Her face carried the same mysterious expression she always seemed to wear. "The time is running out, Mkin," Celia said quietly. "They're getting closer to the truth." Mkin lifted her head slowly. "I know." Celia stepped a little closer. "If Ates finds out, everything will fall apart." Mkin's voice trembled. "He will find out eventually." Celia narrowed her eyes. "Maybe, but that day doesn't have to be today." Mkin took a deep breath. "And what about ***lul***? The name echoed through the room. For a moment, Celia remained silent. Then she whispered something that made the air feel even heavier. "Some people don't die, Mkin, they just disappear." The room fell silent again. And with those words, the mystery grew even deeper. So now the question becomes even more haunting. ***, did Lul really die? ***. Or has the truth been hidden from everyone for all these years? At the same time, down in the basement of the mansion, Haider sat alone in a dark, silent room. He had been locked there for days, cut off from everyone. But surprisingly, there was not the slightest hint of fear on his face. On the contrary, it almost looked as if he had been waiting. Suddenly, the door opened slowly. The person who stepped inside was Venus. "You said you wanted to see me," Venus said cautiously. Haider smiled faintly. "Yes," he replied calmly. "Because the game is about to change." Venus frowned. "What game?" Haider slowly stood up. "The game of truth." Venus stayed silent, watching him carefully. Haider continued. "The secret that has been hidden for years will soon come to light." Venus crossed his arms. "And why now?" Haider's eyes darkened. "Because the time has finally come." Venus thought for a moment before responding. "If that secret comes out, everyone will burn." Haider gave a cold smile. "I'm already burning." After those words, a frightening silence filled the room. So now the question becomes even more unsettling. What secret is Haider hiding? And when that secret finally comes out, who will suffer the consequences? Meanwhile, outside in the mansion's garden, Ates was walking alone under the night sky. Something inside him felt restless. He couldn't stop thinking about the expression on Mkin's face earlier that evening. Something wasn't right. Just then, his phone rang. It was Simel. "Ates, we found the doctor." Ates stopped immediately. What did he say? Simel's voice sounded tense. He agreed to talk about what happened that night. Ates's heart began beating faster. Where is he now? At a clinic outside the city. Ates's eyes hardened with determination. "Get the car ready. We're leaving right now." The call ended. Ates looked up at the sky and whispered quietly to himself. What really happened that night? And now another question arises. What truth will that doctor reveal? At the same time, Mkin was alone in her room. Ashley's words continued echoing in her mind like a storm. After a moment, she walked slowly toward the mirror and looked directly into her own eyes. "Was it really my fault?" she whispered. Just then, there was a knock on the door. The person who entered was Demet. "Mkin, are you okay?" Mkin didn't answer. Demet walked closer. "What did Ashley say to you?" Mkin closed her eyes for a moment before speaking. She said, "Lul died because of me." Demet froze. "What?" Mkin slowly sat down. "What if she's right?" Demet immediately shook her head. "No, that's impossible." But the fear in Mkin's eyes was impossible to ignore. "What if there's something I don't remember?" she asked quietly. And that raises another important question. If you were in Demet's place, what would you say to Mkin? Is it possible for someone to truly remember everything from their past? Or can some memories disappear forever? Meanwhile, somewhere else that same night, Nessier was sitting alone in his car, watching the mansion from a distance. Demet's words kept echoing inside his mind. "Stay away from Mkin. This love will destroy you." But Nessier's eyes were filled with determination. "No," he whispered. "And they will end it."